A love story that once lit up Hollywood returns. But this time, the world has changed, the city has changed, and so have the people who once believed in fairy tale endings. What happens when destiny knocks again? Not just for one couple, but for a whole new generation, standing in the shadow of the past. The screen glows with the golden light of a Los Angeles sunrise. The camera drifts slowly across palm trees and the glittering skyline, then dives into the crowded streets filled with laughter, music, and ambition. The voiceover carries a weight of memory and promise, its tone both nostalgic and inviting. It began 30 years ago, when a man searching for direction found hope in the unlikeliest of places, and when a woman with dreams too big for the world around her finally found someone who believed in her. A soft silhouette of Julia Roberts appears her walk, still confident, her smile still radiant, but her eyes hold the wisdom of time. A limousine door closes, and Richard Gere's reflection flashes across the tinted glass. His expression calm, dignified, yet quietly restless. The screen lingers on them just long enough to remind audiences of who they are. The couple that once defined romance. The music swells, mixing classic orchestral notes with modern beats, echoing the passage of time. Fashion show runways blur across the screen, elegant gala halls filled with flashing cameras, and magazine covers that whisper about legacy, wealth, and glamour. The voice continues. Some love stories don't end, they transform. But even the strongest bonds can fade when faced with the weight of years, choices, and unspoken truths. The visuals now paint Julia Roberts at the center of a dazzling charity event, her laughter capturing the room. A flash of Richard Gere across the same scene. He's nearby, but there's distance in his gaze. A subtle pause. The energy hints at a love that survived the decades, but now stands on uncertain ground. The tone shifts with a sharper rhythm. Bright neon lights flicker as the city changes to a younger, bolder pace. Zendaya enters the frame dressed in modern, sleek fashion, walking with unstoppable determination down a Los Angeles street. Her presence contrasts sharply with the elegance of Julia Roberts, signaling a new era. The screen cuts quickly to Timothée Chalamet, casually leaning against a sports car, charming crowds with his careless grin. His eyes, however, reveal something deeper, edge of vulnerability, hidden beneath confidence. And as one love story faces the test of time, another is just beginning. The camera cuts between the two pairs, Roberts and Gere, bound by history, unspoken regrets, and quiet longing. Zendaya and Chalamet, drawn into the glamorous chaos of modern ambition. Their stories are different, but the threads intertwine, promising drama, passion, and heartbreak. The music rises to a steady crescendo. The images flash faster, paparazzi bulbs exploding, hands brushing against each other in secret, and a storm of emotions caught in stolen glances. The narrator's voice returns, now softer, almost like a whisper, in a city built on dreams and disguises. True love is the only thing that never goes out of style. The screen fades to black. A single phrase appears in silver letters. Pretty woman, to a new chapter begins. The screen bursts alive with a sharper pace. Gone are the golden tones of memory, replaced by electric lights, speeding cars, and the restless heartbeats of the city. Los Angeles no longer moves at the rhythm of old ballads. It thrives on neon glow, digital screens, and the endless chase for attention. The sound of camera shutters collides with the bass of a nightclub, signaling a world where image matters more than truth. We see Zendaya, her eyes focused, her walk unstoppable. She isn't simply moving through the streets. She commands them. Her reflection flickers across glass storefronts, each one showing her in a different light. A dreamer, a fighter, a rising star. But behind that determined face lies a story still unwritten, and a hunger to prove herself in a city that devours ambition as quickly as it rewards it. She doesn't just want to belong. She wants to change the game. The voiceover carries a note of prophecy, framing Zendaya's journey not as survival, but as revolution. Then, a sudden cut to Timothée Chalamet. He enters with a smirk that could light up a room, leaning back against a luxury sports car as paparazzi surround him. He poses, laughs, and entertains the chaos like someone who's been here all his life. The camera zooms in though, revealing what the flashbulbs don't. A look in his eyes that's fleeting, heavy with doubt, almost as if he doesn't believe in the mask he wears. And then there's him, a name that opens doors, but a heart still searching for one that won't close. The screen collides, the two worlds. Zendaya, brushing past Timothée at an exclusive rooftop party. Their eyes lock, just for a moment. The music drops to silence. Time slows, every neon reflection shimmering between them. Neither speaks, but the silence screams, louder than words. Something begins here, unplanned and undeniable. Montage, fast, sharp, alive. Zendaya caught between flashing cameras, reporters chasing her name. Timothée lost in shadows, watching her from a distance. A hand extended across a crowded dance floor. The city watching, whispering, speculating. The voiceover deepens. Every generation finds its own way to fall in love, but sometimes the past refuses to stay behind. The screen briefly fades into Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, sitting across from each other at a quiet dinner. There is elegance, there is history, but between them, silence stretches long. Their eyes say what their lips cannot. Love doesn't vanish, but it can fracture. Back to Zendaya and Timothée. They're laughing, running through a rain-soaked street, free from the weight of expectations, to souls chasing a moment that feels more real than all the glitter around them. Yet the music turns darker. Flashes of confrontation. Julia Roberts looking into Zendaya's eyes with a mixture of recognition and warning. Richard Gere pulling Timothée aside, speaking words the audience can't hear but feel. A storm is brewing, not just between the new couple, but across generations. The trailer builds with overlapping shots. Zendaya in front of a mirror, questioning the reflection, staring back. Timothée throwing off a tuxedo jacket in frustration. Julia Roberts touching an old locket with a bittersweet smile. Richard Gere standing at the edge of a balcony, lost in thought, the city glittering beneath him. The narrator whispers, almost like a secret. Love changes with time, but the choices remain the same. The music explodes back in an orchestra, clashing with pounding electronic beats. Quick flashes, tears, kisses, broken glass. In one long look between the old and the new, past and future colliding in ways no one expected. The screen fades to black once again, but this time, two words pulse across the silence. Destiny returns. The beat slows. The screen turns darker. The glamour of Los Angeles now looks like a trapped velvet. Ropes, flashing cameras, champagne glasses lifted in celebration. But behind every smile hides a secret. The city isn't simply alive. It's watching, waiting, ready to break those who rise too quickly. Zendaya steps out of a limousine in a gown that gleams under the paparazzi lights. She looks powerful, untouchable, yet in the close-up, her eyes tremble. She isn't just playing a role. She's caught inside one. Behind her, Timothée arrives separately, his charm weaponized for the cameras. But when he turns away, his shoulders slump. The facade cracks. Their romance is no longer private. It's a story being sold, dissected, and manipulated. Fame doesn't test who you are. It tests who you're willing to become. The screen cuts quickly. Zendaya, in a dressing room, wiping away smudged makeup with trembling hands. Timothée, staring into a glass of whiskey, silent, broken. A text alert buzzes across her phone tabloids, with their faces splashed across the front page. Headlines screaming about betrayal, scandal, forbidden love. Then Julia Roberts. She enters like a ghost from another time, her presence calm, but commanding. In one shot, she stands before Zendaya, both women in the same mirror frame. Roberts' voice, quiet but unshakable. You think you're writing your own story, but the city, it always writes the ending. Timothée now faces Richard Gere in a powerful confrontation scene. Gere's voice carries authority, sharpened by years of mistakes. Charm fades. Money runs out. What's left is who you are. When the lights go dark, the younger man doesn't respond with words. His silence is the answer. The tension lingers, a generational clash with no easy resolution. The montage tightens, showing cracks in every direction. Zendaya, caught in a rainstorm, her mascara streaking as she whispers, "I didn't ask for this." Timothée slamming a door shut, locking out everyone including her. Julia Roberts staring at an old photograph of herself and Gere, torn between pride and regret. Gere watching from a balcony as Zendaya and Timothée embrace in defiance of everything he warned. The music swells, now jagged, almost fractured. The voiceover deepens. Every great love story carries a choice. Fight for it or let it slip away. Suddenly, silence. A single shot. Zendaya and Timothée in the middle of a crowded gala, standing inches apart, their hands almost touching but not quite. Around them, the world spins, lights, cameras, whispers, but all they see is each other. It should be a moment of unity, but the hesitation between them says otherwise. Cut to black, the sound of heavy rain, then Julia Roberts' voice, low, steady, unshakable. Love makes you brave, but it can also make you blind. The visuals erupt again, arguments in luxury cars, tears under flashing lights, stolen kisses behind velvet curtains. A hand pulled away, a phone smashed to the ground, Zendaya screaming against a storm, Timothée walking away into the night. The music reaches a violent crescendo, then cuts sharply into silence. A single neon word burns across the black screen: betrayal. The rain stops. The storm leaves behind streets that glisten with reflection mirrors of everything broken, everything lost. The city is quieter now, but silence doesn't mean peace. It means choices. It means standing face to face with what's left when the masks fall away. The screen fades in on Zendaya, walking alone down an empty boulevard at dawn. The neon signs are flickering out, the party long gone, the chaos spent. Her heels click against the pavement, echoing like a heartbeat. She pauses at a shop window behind the glass, a mannequin in a red dress. The image lingers, familiar, almost like a memory, borrowed from a story that isn't hers. She reaches out, touching the glass, and whispers, "Who am I if this isn't real?" Across town, Timothée sits on the hood of his abandoned sports car. The engine's cold, the city stretching endlessly before him. His hair's damp, his tuxedo jacket gone, his expression raw. He looks up at the skyline, as if searching for something larger than himself. The world gave him everything, but never taught him how to keep it. The music rises slowly. Softer now, a piano layered with strings. It carries the weight of something lost, but not destroyed. Julia Roberts appears next, framed by morning light in a quiet corner of the city. She stands on a balcony, her eyes closed, breathing in the air as if she's remembering who she was before the world made her into an icon. Then Richard Gere enters the frame, not as a businessman, not as a figure of power, but simply as a man. They exchange no words. They don't need to. One smile, one nod, and years of silence melt into something simple, human, and true. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is forgive. Zendaya and Timothée's story begins to echo this truth. A montage unfolds. Zendaya, stepping on stage at a charity gala, not as someone's date or someone's headline, but as her own voice, speaking from her heart. Timothée pushing through a crowd to hear her, his eyes not on the lights or the fame, but on her. A quiet scene where he reaches for her hand, not in front of cameras, not for show, but in private, where it matters. The music swells into a powerful crescendo, strings, drums, voices rising as one. The screen cuts between the generations. Roberts and Gere, walking together in the soft glow of the city. Zendaya and Timothée running hand in hand through the crowd, laughter breaking through tears. Then comes the confrontation with the city itself. The flashbulbs, the rumors, the whispers, none of it fades. But this time the characters stand firm. Love doesn't erase the noise. It simply outshines it. The trailer builds to its final image. Julia Roberts turning to the camera with that unforgettable smile, timeless and defiant. Richard Gere beside her, older, wiser, still her anchor. Zendaya, in the red dress, standing proud, unafraid. Timothée by her side, no longer a boy playing at charm, but a man willing to stand in the storm. The voiceover, steady and resonant, closes the chapter. Love is not perfect. Love is not easy, but love is forever. The screen fades to black, silenced. Then, in bold silver letters, the title pulses across the dark. Pretty Woman to 2025. Some stories never end. They begin again. The final note of soft piano chord lingers as the screen cuts to black, leaving the audience with both closure and anticipation. Darkness, silence, then a single heartbeat, slow, steady, echoing into the void. The screen glows faintly, not with neon, not with flashbulbs, but with the shimmer of memory. This isn't just a continuation, it's a reflection. The trailer shifts gears, offering something rare, a look beyond the story, into what it means to carry a legacy forward. The voiceover returns, softer, intimate, almost like a secret being confessed. When a love story becomes legend, it belongs to more than just the people who lived it. It belongs to everyone who believed in it. The visuals now weave the past and the future together in bold strokes. A black and white shot of Julia Roberts from the original story, smiling under a hotel balcony light. A mirrored shot of Zendaya, decades later, in that same red glow, her smile uncertain but brave. Richard Gere standing tall in his signature suit, fading into Timothée's reflection in the glass of a skyscraper. Different men, different eras, yet bound by the same search for meaning. The music is haunting now, stripped down to a single violin and piano. Each note feels like a step back through time, yet forward into something uncharted. Cut to Roberts and Gere, walking side by side through an empty theater. Their footsteps echo against the silence, their presence reminding the audience of what they built not just for themselves, but for the stories that would follow. Roberts' voice carries over the scene. We were never meant to be perfect. We were meant to be real. The screen flashes with images of Zendaya and Timothée running, laughing, crying, holding each other. Their story isn't polished, it's raw, and in that rawness lies truth. Then, a daring shift. The city itself becomes a character. Drones sweeping across the skyline, lights flickering like a heartbeat, billboards flashing with faces that come and go. The narrator warns, Los Angeles gives you everything, but it always takes something back. The imagery pulses half dream, half nightmare. But the final montage rises with defiance. Zendaya and Timothée on stage together, refusing to be silenced. Roberts and Gere smiling in the crowd, no longer the stars, but the witnesses passing the torch. The four lives intertwine in a single frame, the past standing beside the present, the old world watching as the new one takes flight. The music builds into an epic crescendo, choirs layered with electronic beats, the sound of tradition colliding with change. The final voiceover, bold and unflinching. Pretty Woman was never just a love story. It was a promise that no matter how the world changes, love will always find its way back. The screen explodes into light, revealing the title one final time, Pretty Woman to 2025. But then one last twist. After the title fades, a short stinger scene plays. Zendaya and Timothée sit in a quiet diner at night, shoulders pressed together, laughing over something small, ordinary. No cameras, no lights, no audience, just two people, free of the weight of expectation. Roberts and Gere pass by outside, glancing through the window, exchanging a knowing smile before walking on. The music softens to a single piano note, fade to black. Text appears in silence. Love doesn't fade, it evolves. The screen is black. Then an unexpected sound, laughter, not the glamorous kind from parties or galas, but raw, unfiltered laughter echoing through a quiet alley. The image sharpens in Zena and Timothée, drenched in rain, clutching each other, laughing through tears. The trailer has shifted again. What began as romance, then conflict, then legacy, now becomes something else entirely. A meditation on resilience. The narrator's voice is steadier now, no longer warning, no longer whispering, but embracing. What makes a story timeless is not how it begins, but how it survives everything that tries to end it. The visuals unfold with cinematic poetry. Julia Roberts standing in front of a mirror, removing jewelry, her face calm but reflective. Her beauty is no longer defined by diamonds, but by the life carved into her eyes. Richard Gere at a piano, playing quietly in an empty room, his expression softened, the weight of years lifted by music. Zendaya stepping barefoot into the ocean at dawn, her gown dragging behind her as the waves erase the footprints she leaves behind. Timothée painting on a rooftop wall, his hands messy, his suit jacket discarded, color exploding across the gray city skyline. The score begins as a single piano note, then layers with strings, and finally builds into a symphony that feels both old and new, bridging the decades of Pretty Woman into the present. A sudden montage crashes in, flashes of paparazzi still chasing, business deals collapsing, lovers running in opposite directions, the city swallowing them whole. But then the montage slows, hands reaching for each other, doors opening, a quiet kiss in the dark. The narrator whispers again, softer now. The world will always test love, but love, real love, always writes its own ending. The screen now divides into two halves. On one side, Roberts and Gere walking arm in arm into a dimly lit theater, their silhouettes framed in gold. On the other, Zendaya and Timothée racing through a crowded street festival, blending into the chaos, unafraid of being seen. The two halves merge into one seamless frame, past and present, forever entwined. The music rises into its grandest swell, yet an anthem of strings, drums, and voices. Like the city itself is singing, the imagery intensifies. Roberts placing her hand gently over Zendaya's, as if passing something invisible, something eternal. Gere nodding quietly to Timothée, a silent recognition that every man must one day choose who he wants to be. Zendaya's laughter breaking through tears, echoed by Timothée's smile. The screen fades to white, not black, a rare choice, symbolizing not an ending, but a beginning. The final words appear in bold, shimmering silver. Pretty Woman to 2025. Not every story repeats. Some stories transform. The music softens into silence. Then, one final shot, a street musician on a corner playing the theme song from the original Pretty Woman. His guitar strings carrying the melody into the city night. Zendaya and Timothée walk past, pausing to listen.